Safe Family worked very, very hard and very fast in my case, from application to hosting. Um, so I felt I felt very blessed when that happened. I felt like it was. I honestly felt like it was a miracle. I felt like, okay, so here's this organization of volunteers that will take in my family and help my kids get them have a place for them to sleep while I'm homeless, and like I don't have to do anything except for just actively work on my goals. Like I didn't think that it was possible. When I met the host family, so I met the Billings family. Um, my preconceived notions about the Billings were that they were maybe this older couple, maybe had like empty nest syndrome to want to take in all five of my kids. And here I see a young couple come in with three children of their own. And I'm like, wow, so you already have three kids, but you're willing to take my five kids and you're not getting paid for this? So it was really shocking to me. And then just speaking with them and seeing their gentle nature, I knew that my kids were going to be okay. I knew that these people genuinely cared, they're genuinely God fearing people, and that they were going to take care of my kids while I got myself together. I really sincerely felt that. So, my goals while my kids were hosted was first to find a shelter for myself, second, to find employment. Um, so, what's interesting with that is that once my children were hosted with safe families, everything else seemed to fall in line. And I'm not saying that immediately right after my kids were hosted, I found employment miraculously, but it felt like because of the hosting, I was able to focus more on finding a shelter for just myself and focus on finding employment. So basically, within a 2 week time period, I was able to find a shelter and then find employment. So it was a great help to have safe families host my children so that I could work on those goals. After I found employment and I was staying at the shelter, my goals began. My goals became that I needed to start saving up. I needed to work on myself. So I I began seeing a therapist for my depression, and I began to save up with my employment. I saved every penny because there was really nothing that I needed to spend any of the money on besides fuel for my car to get back and forth to work and things. So I appreciate that time, having that time to actually see a therapist because, again, I felt like the depression and the apathy because I wasn't working on that. I wasn't focusing on that. I wasn't focusing on the fact that, I'm having these feelings about my marriage, about my life, about my children I felt like I've let down. I was really able to kind of really dissect some of those things and kind of unpack, a lot of those feelings and a lot of the trauma really that the whole situation led to. Another thing I would like to say about my goals was that although it was my responsibility to work on these goals, Safe Families worked with me. We had meetings. I was given a coach, a volunteer family coach, who kind of said, "Well, how are you doing with this?" Or "What do you need help with?" I got a lot of support before I was able to get my first paycheck, which ironically I did not get my first paycheck until actually about 2 months into working for the job. Long story, but I was able to get some help. I was even able to get some help from Safe Families for fuel and things that I needed for the car. I was able to get repairs done that I needed for the car. I was able to get, wow, now that I'm thinking about it, like I was helped so much. I was helped with the background check that I needed to even get the job. There was just so much stuff that now I'm thinking about that Safe Families helped me with. it's almost like they knew that I needed these supports. And so while I was going through this kind of, I was still in this depression and I wasn't really being vocal with a lot of things that I needed, the family coach actually asked the right types of questions because, say, families has these experience with persons in my situation, that they knew some of the questions that they should be asking to help me with the goals that I was working on. And so I got a lot of support. And also the families, the host families would ask, how am I doing? How am I feeling? How's it at the shelter? How's your new job? Like, sincerely wanted to know how things were going for me. Even though I've been a mother to these kids for 17 years, I still needed to be reminded that I still am a capable human being, and I'm someone who can like do things that this doesn't define me. My homelessness doesn't define me. My despair doesn't have to define me. They were really, really helpful and really loving. And again, I feel that was all due to the fact that Safe Families and Building Families, the organization, is a faith-based organization that really has the sincerest interest in doing God's work and helping families to become whole again.